All right. Hello, Survivor Pandemic family. This is Josh Fratello, your Jeff Probst of the season. Welcome to we're going to call it my thoughts on the upcoming season so far, as well as I'm going to do a collective analysis of what I think so far of this season, and as well as I'm going to go through each of the players to see how well they're doing up to this point. Because the thing is, this is merge now. This is where the gloves are off, everyone's swinging hard, everyone's playing the game. There is so many unique aspects to the season that I am really excited to see how it turns out for the rest of the season. So many blindsides happen. The Emily blindside still got me to this day. The Vinny blindside was a big one too. The Raven blindside as well. Raven coming back into the game and losing her shit in front of everybody. So many big moments. I can't wait to dive it down with every single one of you guys tonight. So here is where things are at right now. We're at the merge. Manny got voted off. I am a little disappointed of how that last round went, since especially they could have easily used that round to take out a big player. I'm not saying Manny is not a big threat. I do think that they could have easily taken a shot at a Nanook person, because they still have 5 people. They haven't lost a single person since Jill and Vinny, but like they still have their most amount of people left. So they're gonna have to start taking a shot at them. Otherwise, they're gonna steamroll the rest of the game. Equiluk is one of, I would say, considered one of the most losing tribes in pandemic history. They lost every single challenge except for one. And on the other aspect, where you have Nanook, they won every single challenge except the double tribal. So Nanook, on the other flip side of that coin, was considered one of the strongest tribes in pandemic history. And on top of that, we also have a record for Sheldon, Sarah, and Tad not attending tribal councils for 7 straight rounds. That's pretty impressive. I'll give them that. And then you have Travis on the other aspect of that coin, who attended every single tribal council except for the one where Sean got medevac, which is another thing I want to talk about as well. But so the question being is Travis going to go really deep into the game and claim the Denise strategy, being like I attend 20 out of 21 tribal councils, I made it all the way to the end. If he makes that case, he could win. Those are currently where the major standpoints of the season are. So many amazing moments. If you haven't watched those episodes, please check it out. So those are the big things. Another thing I want to talk about is the search mechanic. The search mechanic is definitely one of my favorite features in the game. A lot of the players enjoyed it. There is a little thing that scares me though, especially with the HP. And this was the moment that definitely gave me the most anxiety. Even at that moment when I was actually there, when Sean was constantly searching in episode 1 and got his health down to 13, I was literally having a panic attack. I was like, Sean, please don't do this to yourself. Please don't. You're gonna you're gonna take yourself out of the game. And then next thing you know, 2 episodes later, he got himself medevac. That is why I wanted to add the realistic aspects to the game of Survivor in terms of the search mechanic, because you never know where the game can take you out just like that. And that's how real it could get on a virtual reality game. So that was definitely one of my little bit more panicking moments, but in more so of a good way, if that makes sense. So that's my take of the game so far. Let me go through each of the individual players and give my full analysis on every player left in the game. So let's go through each of them. Let's start with Gabby. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Gabby a little too much. She did receive votes ever since the swap. So, do I think she's on the bottom on the old swap Equilog tribe? Yes. Do I think she's in danger? I don't think so. I think Gabby is more so she knows a lot more than when she lets on. She keeps all the information down below beneath the surface that a whole lot of people are not going to be seeing, and she might as well be perceived as a goat. But I think if she makes it to the end, she's going to drop all these bombshells saying, "I know this, I know this, I know this," and she could potentially win the game. And I can't wait to see how well Gabby does in this race. JT is more so in a little bit of hot waters in the last couple of rounds. Since like what's interesting about JT is that he he doesn't come across as a snake, but he hit himself very well to make very tough decisions. The first time when in the first TMR Tribal Council, he voted Raven, but then at a later point in the later episode, he didn't vote Raven, and then got himself in hot waters. So it will be pretty interesting to see if JT can get himself out of that sticky situation because I don't think he's in good graces with people like Sarah at the moment. So I do think JT is smart to get himself out of situations. I need to see if he's able to hold out just a little longer and build up enough connections to get himself back into the power position again. Raven, I was honestly scared for the first half of the game when she wasn't as active as much as I hoped. But I do got to give her credit when it was due. She managed to get herself out of being the first boot off of the old Timiok tribe and survive and given us the iconic Emily blindside. Very good of her to convince Sean to keep her. And that is why like moves like that can get yourself off the bottom and put yourself in a higher pedestal. So Raven, you might as well call her the second coming of Christ because she definitely delivered in this latest episode. She was popping off on Sarah. She was popping off on Sheldon. She was popping off at all the members of the Nuke. Had she not got the power of the Chosen One, she would have been booted based off the way that she was handling the situation. I think when you win individual immunity, you can do whatever the hell you want. But I do got to give her credit where credit was due. She managed to stir the pot a little bit, and now everybody is more so focused on people like Sarah now. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. Raven's reads were incredibly on point. Incredibly on point. I do. The only issue, though, is that she needs to keep her thoughts about people in public to a minimum level. Because the reason why she got voted off from the Tundra is that she told Ryan to her face that he comes across as a super fan. That is what that's what got Ryan to turn on Raven in the first place. But now with her coming back, I am very interested to see how else she would do now because she's definitely playing a lot better in the second half than what she did for the first little part of the game. I do hope she makes it far because she's definitely a fan favorite at this point. DJ, DJ was definitely was considered to be a power player in the first half of the game and was definitely a control for a lot of the votes in the at the Equilux Tribal Councils. He got it good with people like Rachel and Travis, and now he is. Now including him, Rachel, and Travis, all three of them are now considered the middle people since you never know which side they're going to turn to. They're like a good collective crew of people that you want to have on your side for at least for a few more rounds. I do think DJ targeting Manny was a little bit of an off call because that was DJ's move, but it also put a target on his back. So the question being is he able to get the target off of his back and onto someone else? That's completely up to him. But I do have high hopes for DJ. I think he's going to make it far. He still has the super idol, which is big. So that's going to give him a second chance at some point in the game. And I hope he pulls up a win for this one. Rebecca is playing very low key that no one notices her at all. And it's going to be either very good for Rebecca or really bad because she could be viewed as a GOAT as well. I do think Rebecca, same with Gabby, I do think Rebecca knows a lot more than what she's letting on. And I think she has formed enough social bonds to be able to get herself in a lot of people's good graces. I do think she's the kind of person that would make top 5 based off the way she's playing, but she needs to make a big move if she's going to want a chance to go against big players like DJ, Sarah, or JT. Or hell, like even Ryan. Ryan's been making a lot of crazy moves, and he is showing more and more. He is really playing this game to win, which I will get to Ryan in a little bit. But yes, I hope Rebecca pulls off something. If not, I don't see her winning. Sheldon is one of the most calculated players in the game. He is making all these social connections with everybody. He is telling people all the right things. He's being truthful to some people and knows when to give the information when it's absolutely necessary. Sheldon definitely dodged a bullet and owes Ryan a big fat thank you, because had Ryan not voted Raven, Sheldon would have been out in the round before merge. So he definitely has some sway, and I think Sheldon can make a lot of interesting moves. And I do see him making it to the end. Not gonna lie, I don't know if he has a good compelling argument to win, but we're gonna have to wait and see if he actually makes some interesting moves, because there's still like a lot of game left. So we're gonna have to wait and see how well he does. Tad is one of the moving pieces of the Nanook trio, and he also is the only member on the Nanook on the OG Nanook people with Sarah, Sheldon, and Tad that still have an idol in his possession. He has the Wolfpack idol of two fractions. All he needs is one more piece, and he can have himself the power to protect 2 people. Tad is definitely very aware of what's going on, has a lot of influence as well, and I do see Tad making some moves in this game. I don't think maybe yet. We're gonna have to wait and see if he actually makes like around like top 9 or top 8 to see if he's willing to cut Sarah or Sheldon. Since I do see it, but he can also play a loyal game and stick to those 2. We'll find out what Tad does later on. Travis, once again, I gotta give him credit. He's so far playing a Denise game. He's been to every single tribal up to this point, and he hasn't been and he hasn't been voted out yet. He did receive a vote at Tribe Swap, but he's still in a lot of good graces with some people in the game. He's still good with Ryan. He's still good with DJ and Rachel. I think he might be in good graces with Sarah too. So Travis is right now in a pretty decent spot, but Ryan is seeing that, and that's going to be a little bit worrisome since, like, I think Ryan would also betray Travis too. So I'm hoping Travis makes a move soon, because if he just goes around whatever DJ or Rachel says, he's not going to win the game. Moving on to one of the most surprising players of the season, and definitely the most influential, is Ryan. Ryan has been playing since day one. He has got everybody fooled. He knew exactly the right things to say to get people to get in his good graces. He is now in probably the best position in the game right now. Everyone's looking for Ryan. Everyone wants Ryan, and besides Raven, everybody wants Ryan deep into the game, which means Ryan is doing a phenomenal job. And the fact that Ryan's still up to this point hasn't been targeted, even though Raven wanted Ryan gone, no one's really going for that. I could see Ryan potentially winning this whole thing. He is getting a lot of screen time, potentially a winner's edit. Do I think he's going to win the game? Fingers crossed. I'm definitely rooting for him. I hope he does well. Um, but the only thing that concerns me with Ryan is that he has to monitor his threat level, because the more of the big threats like DJ, Sarah, Raven, um, Travis, the more those big threat players get taken out, Ryan's target on his back will slowly get bigger and bigger and bigger, to a point where people are going to be like, "Oh shit, we're sleeping on Ryan a lot. We got to take him out." Do I think they're going to gun for Ryan when it's too late? Only time will tell, since he's doing a phenomenal job and probably one of the best games at this moment. Let's move on to Rachel. Rachel has been pretty surprising, especially the fact she has been on the right side of the votes every single round. And on top of that, she has made very, very tight connections with DJ and Sarah on the Nuke side, as well as her old Timiok folks with JT, Kevin, Gabby, and Raven. So the question being is Rachel going to side in with her old Timiok people, or is she going to side with the DJ, Travis, Sarah crew? It really depends how well. It really depends how well she will go in that aspect. She has a popping up her chest advantage. She still has the extra vote that could be very crucial at a later point in the game. I hope she uses it soon, because that could be very beneficial. But I think when I think when Rachel uses that advantage, she would definitely make it her main move and something for the resume to win the game. Kevin started off in a little bit of a rocky start, because Gabby compared notes with JT, and basically now Kevin is in a little bit of an awkward situation with having two chats in the old Timiok crew, with having two 4-person majority alliance chats before the swap. I do think that wore off, though, and Kevin now put himself in a better position. But I still think now Kevin is back on the bottom again, because he was on the wrong side of the vote when Raven got eliminated. That also put in a little bit of a feud between Sarah and Kevin, which is a little bit scary, because now once again Kevin is on the bottom of that vote and could be a potential target. So I don't think Kevin will survive the next few rounds unless he's able to work his magic. I don't think he's going to be able to survive the next few rounds. I do have high hopes for Kevin, because he definitely has some swag, but I don't know if he's going to make it past top 10. Lastly, Sarah. Sarah, ever since the swap, has gotten votes. Sarah, I have a feeling, is going to be one of those players that's going to receive votes every single tribal council, but not go home. She definitely has made those connections when it counts. She now has Sheldon, Tad, and now Ryan in her corner. She also has Rachel and DJ as well as maybe a bit of Travis at points. So it will be really interesting to see which direction she goes, because she definitely has a lot of pathways to get to the end. I just need her to get the target off of her back, because it's starting to get to a point where it's too big and everyone's noticing it, to not take a shot at Sarah and then miss. So I hope she's able to get the target smaller, because otherwise I don't think she's going to be able to get past the next few rounds. But we'll have to wait and see how the rest of that part turns out. But yeah, overall, this is going to be a wild finish, especially the merge episode was definitely the taste of what is yet to come. Lots of moves still yet to be made. I can't wait to see how the rest of the season turns out, where we will crown our winner of Survivor Pandemic Canadian Arctic in, I would say, very soon. Very soon. But yeah, until then, stay tuned. If you have not checked the previous alliterations of the episodes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will put it in the comments below. And yes, that is my take so far of this game, Hit Point and Merge. Definitely, once again, a lot of games still have to be played. So many heavy hitters. I cannot wait to see where the stars align and the moves being made in this game. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I will catch y'all at the reunion. See you guys soon.